Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today, despite the heat, but at least it is sunny and dry. Also, I have a huge fear of public speaking, but speaking out against injustices means a lot more to me. So here I am. Hopefully I make it through it. My name is Ani McMullen, and this is Natalie Cooney. As some of you may know, we organized this event in coordination with the township. First of all, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who came out today and who shared the details of this rally on social media. That was a huge help. This would not have been possible without the support of local communities. I know there are people here from all different towns in the area, and it's so amazing. We did not think it would gain this much attention. In fact, getting so many supportive messages from the get-go was the encouragement we needed to allow this event to evolve into what it is today. I also want to thank our supportive families, also Katie Quinn, Mayor Horner, and all of the Cinnaminson Township departments for their support and allowing us to use this park and the street for the evening. Obviously, we are all aware of the issue of racism and systemic oppression that this country faces. Otherwise, you would not be here today. We cannot wait any longer for a change to happen. And simply being not racist is no longer enough. As individuals of all different races and ethnicities, and as members of this melting pot of a nation, we have to be actively anti-racist, calling it out wherever we see it. As former Lakers player Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said when addressing the murder of George Floyd, racism in America is like dust in the air. It seems invisible, even if you're choking on it, until you let the sun in. Then you see it's everywhere. As long as we keep shining that light, we have a chance of cleaning it wherever it lands. That is exactly what we want to happen, and what we hope all of this attention and awareness will allow to happen. Natalie and I decided to start with our own town. In regards to the systemic oppression Black people face in America, obviously it is not something that can be changed overnight or in a month, and probably not even a year, but the sooner we start, the better. Currently, Black people are 3 times more likely to be killed by police and 1.3 times more likely to be unarmed than white people. The first step is for departments around the country to acknowledge this problem and for individuals in the departments to address and take accountability for their racial bias. I also support legislation that will provide an independent body to investigate claims of police bias and misconduct. When police are left to investigate themselves, a conflict of interest is created. I understand it may be difficult for Brothers in Blue to be asked to investigate and potentially act against their friends and colleagues, and we know that this approach has not been effective in cases across the country. The last thing I want to say are 5 things we can all do to stop racism. 1, stop denying it exists. 2, call out bigotry and hate speech, even if it's our friends and family. Vote for representatives who, thank you. 3, vote for representatives who prioritize equality. 4, teach children about kindness and differences and support mentorship programs. And 5, be an ally by joining unity groups in schools, churches, or other organizations with a mission of promoting equality. Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to have some speakers from our township, and the first speaker I would like to welcome up is Mayor Ryan Horner.
Thank you very much. Anya, Natalie, you both should be extremely proud. You are both wise beyond your years And this community is proud of both of you for taking an idea and turning it into action. You deserve a round of applause. To all the people that took the time out of their schedules to be here tonight, you also deserve to be commended for your willingness to come together in a peaceful manner to exchange thoughts and ideas. So you also deserve a round of applause. Now, while we celebrate what we're doing right here tonight, let's be mindful that this is not the end result. This is just the beginning for each and every one of us here to get to where we want to be. And understand that the journey may be difficult and it may be long, but the desired result will be a direct reflection on how hard each and every one of us work to get to that goal. So take each and every lesson that every one of you learned here tonight and put it into use. Make a new friend. Open your hearts and listen to each other. And if we all can do that and share that lesson with another person, there's no reason why we can't reach that desired goal a lot sooner than we all would think is possible.
You're here.
With that said, I'm honored to introduce the next speaker, lifelong Cinnaminson resident, retired sergeant of the Cinnaminson Police Department, and current Township Committee member, Ernie McGill.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you guys for putting this on for us. Last week, a horrible tragedy occurred in Minneapolis, Minnesota that has had a profound effect on our country. The Township of Cinnaminson supports every citizen's First Amendment rights, and we support peaceful protesting, as well as our law enforcement officials who are entrusted with maintaining public safety within our community. We believe that working together and having a civil discourse is a proper way to address this issue, and we applaud you all for making that effort. As a lifelong resident and former police officer in this town, I have seen firsthand what this town is capable of accomplishing when we all join together. Peace is the answer. Love is the answer. Government works best when we all work together. So as heartbreaking as the situation may be that brought us here tonight, I am happy and proud that our people can come together. We are Cinnaminson Strong.
Thank you. The next speaker I would like to welcome up is Mr. Stephen Capello.
Good afternoon, everyone. As they were so kind to introduce me, my name is Steve Capello, if I have not met you, and I'm the very proud superintendent of schools here in Cinnaminson. Over the last several days, while I continue to reflect on the tragic killing of Mr. George Floyd, one thing has become crystal clear. We have a lot of work to do to end racial injustice. And this doesn't just mean the police or a subset of the community. We all have a lot of work to do, and this work must start now. We can do more, and we must do more, and we can do better, and we will. As a superintendent, educator, and father of four, my focus is on the education of our young people. I believe that through education, we will see change. Tonight, I commit the Cinnaminson Township School District to doing better for our staff, for our students, and for our community. I want to share three important goals. Thank you. I want to share three important goals of the Cinnaminson Township Public School System as we move forward. First, in order to truly provide an educational environment that is free of bias, hate, and racism, we must remain committed to the diversification of our staff to match the population of our students. All students should be surrounded by professionals that share a similar experience to them. Second, we must elevate the voices of all of our students. Providing ongoing opportunities for students to openly and honestly share their concerns in a safe space will help us move forward. As I mentioned in a statement earlier this week to the parents of the community, I look forward to those meetings taking place as early as next week, and Mr. Gorman at the high school has graciously volunteered to lead student voices in a conversation about these very important subjects. And as I stand here overwhelmed by the number of young people in the crowd, I wonder if a young lady by the name of Alyssa Troutman is here. Well, in her absence, I'm reflected back to February 8th, and this young lady from the Cinnaminson High School shared a report on the CMS Morning News about Diane Nash, a civil rights activist and key player in the freedom rides of the 1960s. Alyssa's report taught me a great deal about Miss Nash, and when I reached out and thanked her for giving the report, I mentioned that one quote stuck with me from Diane Nash, and she wrote, "There is a source of power in each of us that we don't realize until we take responsibility." And I wanted to commend the two young ladies who helped form this afternoon's gathering because they are doing what we all need to do and take responsibility. A couple of years ago, the Cinnaminson High School student body created a groundswell. It happened at a time when they had had enough of watching incidents of school violence in our country. Their combined, young but powerful voices forced the administration to listen. They gathered together and arranged a walkout. Our students demanded change in a show of force unlike anything I had ever seen in my time in education. As a result now, we have buildings that are more secure than ever, a team of police officers in our schools. Their voices were heard that day, not only in Cinnaminson, but as a collective throughout the nation. Many have heard me say this in the past. The most important thing in our district is the safety and security of our students. Well, that same groundswell that I felt 2 years ago, I see, feel, and hear again today. Because the safety of our students is not just about the physical building that they are in, but how they feel when they are in school and provided with a safe space for learning and growing. To help us achieve our goals, under the direction of Dr. Goldburn, we'll be partnering with personnel from the Rutgers Equity in Education Unit. We don't claim to know everything, and we must rely on our partners who can guide us in the work that is needed to create the most effective and equitable teaching and learning environments for our students. Angela Davis said, and I believe it was quoted earlier, "It's not enough to be a non-racist, but you have to be anti-racist." And I am committed that as the school leader charged with educating 2,678 young people, we will be a school district that is anti-racist. Thank you for being here today. I see you, I hear you, and I will work harder on your behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Capello. Our next speaker is going to be a graduate of Cinnaminson High School, Erin Kimber Canan.
Hi everyone. I want everyone to look around for a second. This right here, this is your family. We are all family. No matter the color of your skin, your age, we are one. We are together in this fight. This fight is about unity. I spent the last year at college studying political science, and the main thing that I learned is that divisions keep dividing. Unity is creation. We have to create this change, and this change comes from every single one of us. We all have a responsibility right now. We all have a duty. All the younger kids in the crowd right now, we are being generation change right now. We say no more. The generations above us, they have allowed this to continue. They have allowed this to continue. They have sat back and they have watched their brothers and their sisters die. We are Generation Change. We say no more. No more Black lives dying. You are our brothers and you are our sisters, and we fight for you. We fight with you. Right now, I feel very, very blessed to have just spent the last year studying political science, because I gained a great deal of knowledge that has really been helping me navigate this whole situation. Something that I learned is how much I'd never learned. There is so much that we never learned. I want to help you learn. My Instagram is aaronkimber.c. I am committed on that Instagram, on that account is all dedicated to helping you gain the knowledge and the resources that you need to understand what we are fighting right now. Because I'll tell you what, nobody knows, I don't know, nobody knows how much has gone into this fight. This fight has happened since the birth of our nation. We built this nation on the backs of our Black citizens. We should be celebrating Black culture. We love you. We love you, and we love Black culture. What do you listen to? Rock and roll, hip hop, no matter what music that you listen to, I will tell you something that came from Black culture. We are Generation Change. We say no more. We will not sit back anymore. We will not allow this to happen any longer. Every single person, we are family, and we are here on this planet for a reason. Right now, we are living history. You have a role. We are living history, and you have a role to play. I want to talk right now a little bit about what it means to be in a primarily white community right now, because it can be hard to navigate what it means to be an ally. What does it mean to be an ally? It means that this fight is not about you. We need to be selfless right now. White people, we need to be selfless right now. Don't try and get your face on the front of the newspaper right now. That's not what this is about. This is about equality, and this is about unity. That's why I'm dedicating my account, I'm going to say it again, aaronkimber.c. Please go follow me, because I am committed to starting discussions. I want to talk about another very important thing. What does it mean to be an ally? It means that we need to start the difficult conversations. Black people, they have been suffering for this their whole entire lives. They can't walk down the street and feel comfortable. And we are part of that problem. They can't feel comfortable because of our place in society. And I am committed to using my privilege to your advantage until that privilege no longer exists. I will use my place in society until it no longer exists. I will use my privilege until it no longer exists. I will use my privilege until there is unity, because unity is creation. We need to be creative right now. We need to be creative right now. You have an idea, go for it. You have an idea, please reach out to me. I am more than happy to help. To my Black brothers and sisters, if you feel misunderstood right now, please reach out to me. I want to help you feel understood right now, because there's so much going on. Divisions keep dividing. We cannot keep arguing. Unity is creation. We need to come together right now. Now more than ever. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Right now, if you're a white person, I want you to take the responsibility to confront people. Because our Black brothers and sisters, they are hurt right now. They are hurting. They are hurting. And we need to rise up and have those difficult conversations with our friends and our families, because it is them. It is them who is stemming this. It is them who is feeling their hurt. And we have a responsibility to confront those people and help them understand. And that is another reason that my account on Instagram is dedicated to providing you with navigating those how to navigate those conversations. I'm giving you the resources, the education to help you navigate those conversations. It is so important right now that we leave no man behind in understanding the importance of this movement. We are family and we need to come together right now. And that includes, unfortunately, we are also family with the people who disagree with us. We need to love them too, unfortunately. And I know that it's hard. And that's why white people right now, we have the responsibility and the duty to show love and empathy to the people who don't understand, because black people can't do it right now. They're hurting. They're hurting. And we need to help. And we need to help them feel understood, because it is our friends and it is our family who is fueling their hurt. So I want everyone right now to commit to stop arguing. Stop arguing. We need to have conversations. Where do arguments go? Nowhere. You're never going to win an argument. You're never going to open their mind. You're just going to keep going back and forth. We need to start conversations. Confront people. Say, I don't care about arguing with you right now. I don't care. This isn't about me. This is selfless right now. I don't care about winning this argument, so I'm going to present you with the information and the resources that you need to understand this. Help people understand what everyone has their own beliefs for a reason. It's unfortunate that some people have certain beliefs, but everyone has their beliefs for a reason. So we need to commit to the empathy of understanding the people who we don't understand. I can never understand Donald Trump. I could never understand what's going on in his mind, but I have to try, because that's the only way that we will get him to listen. That is the only way that we will make people listen, is if we understand, okay? I want to say right now that I love you all so much, and I'm so proud of everyone for being here. And I am your family, and I'm here for you in any way that I can be right now. Please use my account on Instagram, aaronkimber.c, as a resource and also as a friend. I'm here for you on a political level to help you understand, but I'm also here on a personal level, because I know right now it can be very tiring. You're probably drained and overwhelmed, and you don't know what to do, and I want to help you navigate everything going on. I love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have the organizer of another local protest, John Walls.
All right, hello everybody. Hello. My name is John Walls. You probably see me on Facebook. It says John Confucius Walls. One thing I would like to tell you guys about is racism, that by taking a walk with us, you will see my answer to any argument, period, is just walk with me, period. Because anybody who walked with me on Sunday, anybody walking me on Sunday that's here? Anybody hear about the 7 or 9 people that were rioters on Sunday? The 2 people that walked into Walmart with not protesting at all, and we shut down the Walmart at 4:30 because I was a looter, because I was a rioter. Well, I can tell you right now, in your town, the only reason why I started that peaceful protest is because when I looked at that page, they called my people animals. Wild animals, looters, rioters. Why are you burning your own town down? Why are you burning your own city down? First of all, those people that were calling us animals, they weren't there. I was there. I was peacefully protesting. I watched a white cop body slam a white woman, and the only thing that went through my head was, I'm not going to be another person that's going to record this and put it on the gram. Nah, I picked her up. And I picked her up. And I know that I've been in the Baltimore riots in 2015. I was trying to graduate from college. They started at my school. All right? A lot of you guys don't know necessarily what it feels like to deal with racism. I'm actually raised in Virginia, so I've dealt with racism to my face. Have any of my black people, how many times have you been called a nigger? Raise your hand. Have you been called a nigger by a white person? Right? And you've been outnumbered the whole time, right? So half the time when you get called that word, you can't say nothing because it's one of you versus 40 of them. You gotta be the token black friend. I've been the token black friend. I've been the one that just had to keep my mouth shut. I've been to places where they hand me a rope and tell me you forgot your necklace. I'm the one that had to deal with that. I'm the one that had to laugh that off. A lot of people don't know what that feels like. A lot of people don't know what it feels like to have to put a blind eye and a deaf ear to racism because it's only one of you. It's not enough of you. This is why we are starting these protests in these towns, because my voice is not necessarily heard. You see, there's what, 15 black people here? Literally. My voice is not heard. So when I started protesting peacefully, because they called me an animal, I said, Cinnaminson, first of all, Camden had a peaceful protest while those riots were going on, right? One thing about Camden is one of the worst cities in America, yet we had, ironically, one of the most peaceful protests in America. But I'm still an animal, right? I'm an animal. That's what they called us, an animal. The whole time in Philly, I can tell you right now, the people that started the looting, I have a whole video of it. Dude literally said, I'm here to do illegal shit. That's what he said. He was dressed in all black, head to toe, and we cornered him. And he's like, I'm not here to riot stuff, I'm here to do illegal stuff, and I got tattoos all over my body, and that's a jail sentence. So, you know, us as black folks, we was like, all right, go ahead, do what you gotta do. Because who gonna get blamed for it? Us. As you see, CNN, they blame it on us. What are you talking about? It's not us. It's not us. I worked with the cops during that protest. I'm the one that said, hey, officer, I ain't gonna lie to you, your words fall on deaf ears to these protesters. So yeah, you will have to use force because they're not gonna listen to you. They're in your face, they're not listening to you. But watch this. Excuse me, ma'am, can you please back up before they start beating you? She backs up. So then I said, see, officer, I can help you keep the peace without doing any brute force. So I got my hands on his shoulders, me and this officer, he was a supervisor because he had on a white button-down shirt. And he was a black guy, so I told him, I said, I got you. Just police your police. I'm gonna get these people out the way so you don't have to use this force. When I got my hand on his shoulder, he moved his head and looked away. His counterpart must have thought that he saw a split-second thing because I had my hand on his shoulder. I got clotheslined by that metal staff and beat with it. Right. Clotheslined by that metal staff and beat with it while I was trying to help him. So of course I get up and I grab him back. And I yell at the supervisor like, bro, I'm trying to help you and you got your man just sitting there beating me with a metal staff. Like, come on now. And I still kept the peace. If you see pictures of me, you see pictures of me hugging cops. I'm hugging cops. I'm hugging a white cop. And do you know what happened to me by my own people from that? They calling me a coon because I'm hugging the same person that killed my people. But they didn't have a conversation with him. They didn't know that he didn't want to be there. That man worked in Kensington. Kensington is a fentanyl camp right there. He said all the cops in Kensington is down in Center City. I was like, ooh, that means Kensington, they wilding right now. Ain't nobody to police them. He's like, exactly. I was like, yeah, man, I know your ankles hurt, your knees hurt, you getting yelled at, smoke blown in your face, people calling you out your name and whatnot. I know you want to fight back, but it's all love right here. I don't want to do nothing to you. I know you don't want to be here. And that's what I did the whole time. I'm sitting there dapping up cops, all this and that. But then when I came here and I said that I'm a protest and they called me a rioter, I said peacefully protest. They called me a rioter, a looter, an animal. And the white people that walked with me, they were getting called niggas. They was getting called that too. And I said, just walk with me and you will feel how I feel for these 2 hours. And they saw it. They felt it. Black people, what does the term be safe mean? It means more than just be safe. It means that you might not come home. That's something that we have imprinted in the back of our head. Of course, we act like it's nothing, but it really means something. When I see my friends or my black brothers and sisters, when they leave me, I always say, be safe. It means something. So when we were waiting in the parking lot, white people would come and say, yes, Black Lives Matter. I'm like, hey, thank you, man, thank you. But the black folks was coming up to me and they was telling me to be safe. And I said, man, I got you. They doubled back and made sure I looked at them square in the eyes and they said, be safe, I'm afraid out here. So then I told the 2 white ladies that were with me, I said, you realize the term be safe. I said, you see how they doubled back on me with that? And they made sure I felt that. I said, that's what I have to deal with. As a black man, we know, as black men and women, we know that we are a second-class citizen from birth. That's just what we got to deal with. We got to work 10 times harder than a normal person in the work world just to be considered as a percentage of good. You guys don't got to deal with that. My hair, you ever try going to an interview with dreads or with locks? They ain't gonna like me. I'm Christopher on the phone, but I'm Daquan in person. They come and see me. They said, where John at? I'm right in front of him. I'm right here. I knew the interview was over. So now I gotta sit there and ask them all these questions about how they got in their position, just try to win them over. Sometimes I gotta say, I'll take a pay cut because I can work harder and I can learn faster than everybody else. And so you don't have to worry about wasting your money on me. I can prove to you. That's what I have to do every day. We have to teach our sons and daughters how to carry themselves around white people, how to carry themselves around the police, how to handle themselves. You don't get that. Like when we get pulled over by a cop, have you guys been pulled over by a cop, you start shaking? You ain't even doing nothing wrong, you start shaking. Whole time. You scared because we scared for our lives. Black people, how we feel when we get pulled over. What we know about Riverside? Don't go there at night, right? How about Maple Shade? Don't go get pulled over there at night, right? Marlton, don't get pulled over there at night. What you doing here? You got a nice car? That's not your car. Whose car is this? It's mine. What you talking about? I pay for it. Nah, that's not your car. Yes, it is. Y'all look it up. Boom. Stuff like that we got to deal with every day. When I said I was going to protest in the Riverside, and you ain't see that page, they threatened to shoot me. They threatened to shoot me. Grown men and women, I'm talking about 40, 50 years old, talking about I'm going to protect my store, our town. What are you doing here? Get out of here. They think I'm from Baltimore. I live here. I went to Holy Cross. They wouldn't let me use their parking lot to do a protest. I didn't want to use the shopping center parking lot because it could incite a riot. There could be a few bad apples and they could burn everything down. I'm not getting in trouble for that, so I decided to use an empty parking lot with a school across the street from a police station. Couldn't do it. So I had to switch it up a little bit. Now, what I'm trying to tell you guys is what you guys need to do is just take the walk. Don't sit there and say all lives matter. All lives matter, but my life matters first. All kings and queens, black kings and queens, because that's what we are. That's what we are. Y'all don't understand. As black people, we had everything stripped from us. Christianity, that's not us. We worship different gods in Africa. That was stripped from me. I don't even know what my real last name is because I took the name of my slave master. What a lot of you guys probably don't know is you guys maybe got a fingernail of black in you. You know how? Because the slave masters used to rape the slaves. And then we get the term mulatto slave or a house nigga. Those are the light-skinned slaves that are too beautiful to go outside. So they get raped all the time by their master. And they get beat all the time by the master's wife because she's jealous. Y'all don't understand that. Y'all know what buck breaking is? The master used to rape the male slave to break his will. The term mother effer, that's a slave term. They used to make slaves have sex with their mothers to break their will. When they didn't eat, when slaves went on protest to eat, they used to not eat, they used to bust their forefront teeth and then stuff cornmeal down their throats. You know what that feels like? So just walk with us so you can see what I feel. And then you'll stop all these random racist opinions. And that is all.
Thank you. Now we are going to do the 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence in honor of George Floyd. If you'd like to take a seat, you're more than welcome. So we're going to start that now.
Can I go grab a water? EK, grab me a water.
Our next speaker is another CHS student, Lily Myers.
Hello, I'm Lily. I'd like to thank Anya and Natalie for allowing me to speak at an event like this. I recognize that I am not the preferred person to speak on this topic. I'd like to say a few of the last words that were spoken. I can't breathe. What are you following me for? Mom, I'm going to college. I don't have a gun. Stop shooting. You shot me. You shot me. It's not real. I can't breathe. The last words of those whose lives were stripped from them by the people meant to protect us. People would not stand up for this if this was an isolated incident, because this is not an isolated incident. People experience racism and prejudice on a daily basis, and that needs to change. More than 50 years after the civil rights movement, and we still need change. People will say, we've come this far. Well, we've come far enough. Well, it's not far enough, obviously. It is not far enough until the slaughtering of innocent black people is put to an end. I don't want to be here. And I doubt any of you want to be here either. The fact that we have to come out and do something like this really tells me that we need change. I never wanted to have to be somewhere to protest, to speak out against pure injustice between the difference of right and wrong in 2020. I hoped the world had changed. I hoped we'd started anew. A world without discrimination or racial injustice. I have never experienced such agony in my heart like I do right now. I can't even imagine how the families of these people feel, how the communities of these people feel. This country, whether you like it or not, needs fixing right now. This world needs it. And it starts in the minds of the youth. Change is started in my mind and your daughter's mind and your son's mind when we experience injustice. There are people set in their ways that no matter what you say to them, they will not shake their bigotry, their horribly outdated ideals. That is why the youth, especially, needs to stand up. That is why you must think for yourself as a person, not what your dad says, not what your mother says, not what your uncle says, not what anyone in your family says. You think for yourself. You think right and wrong for yourself. Don't be quiet at the dinner table because you are afraid that your parents will disagree with you, that you are afraid your family will disagree with you. You stand up for something that you believe in. I know you may think you're too young to do something, but let me tell you, you are not. You are never too young to stand up for what is right. Use your privilege to fight injustice. If you don't care about this, if you don't care about this movement or the people that have gathered here, I have a message for you. The fact that you don't care about Black Lives Matter shows your privilege. The privilege some say doesn't exist. It's there, statistically. Redlining and systemic racism has pushed people of color down for so long, and enough is enough. It is not a question of white versus black. It is life and death. That is what people need to understand and get through their heads. That this is bigger than most truly realize. This is not a trend. This isn't something you post on Instagram with a hashtag and then forget about. This is not a group outing, a fun outing for your friends. This is life and death. If the reason you don't support the protests is looting, if you say, people loot, I don't support the protests, you are looking for an excuse to not support it in the first place. I hear people's silence on this issue as a whole, and that is sickening. I'm sickened by silence and lack of support for human lives. We have to stand up for what is right. The world must change. The time is near. Will you be proud of your actions in the future? When you look back, will you be on the right side of history? Are you prepared to stand up for what you believe is inherently right? Will you stand up and take that chance? We will not be silenced. We cannot allow the black community to be continually oppressed for the color of their skin any longer. This is America, land of the free, where equality is supposed to reign supreme. So why doesn't it? When that doesn't happen, an uprising begins. We're watching history, and America needs an update. I have a message for my white peers and such. The fact that we can protest here without fear of getting hurt shows our privilege. The privilege that allows you to have no fear when being pulled over. The privilege that allows you to live another day. Your silence shows your privilege. You cannot sit there and not care just because it isn't happening to you personally. Your ignorance shows your hate. Privilege means ignoring a problem because it does not affect you personally. And most people in our community, if they see a fight or a crime in progress, they don't think twice about calling the cops. In black communities, they are hesitant to call the police because they do not want things to escalate and someone to get hurt or someone to die. That's the difference in our ingrained mindsets. That shows our privilege. If you see a crime, you call the police. You're not afraid that they will kill someone accidentally or on purpose. They are there to defend and serve, not kneel on necks. And people who say they don't care about politics or don't think politics are a true reflection of character, please realize that politics are a direct reflection of your morals, therefore your entire opinionated existence. Simply saying you don't care about lives being lost. Human lives. This world needs to change. My heart is breaking. Your heart is breaking. And my heart is breaking for the people who scream for their mothers as the life is being pushed out of them, who are killed on the basis of none other than having a different color skin. There is such a thing as a tipping point, an occurrence that happens in history that changes the course of it forever. I see that tipping point now. I see that tipping point as millions of people coming together in unity against evil in this world. I see it. This hate needs to end. No justice, no peace. If you are not with us, you are against us. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. Our next speaker is another Cinnaminson High School student, Avery Sullivan.
Hey, everybody. Together we're here to highlight and amplify Black voices. Black creators, Black artists, Black business people, Black trailblazers, and Black strength. But it does not end here. You gotta keep this energy. I recognize that white silence is compliance. That standing in a protest wasn't enough. I am proud to be an ally in this fight. But we are here because we're angry. We're here because it upsets us that we have a language for inequality and inequity. That terms like ally and privilege we could all define. I'm sure we could all agree it makes me sick that in this world, a more privileged voice could overshadow another. That a movement led by strong, independent, empowered, brilliant voices minorities call upon the presence of more privileged allies to make a change. You see, privilege is often confused. Privilege does not mean that your life was never difficult, that it never will be. It means that the color of your skin never made it harder. And I'll talk more on recognizing your privilege, how and why you should use it. A white child in Cinnaminson grows up comfortably with people that look like them, teachers that look like them, from coaches to Girl Scout troop leaders to Disney Channel protagonists. We see people everywhere that look like us. And no experience of mine was ever made more difficult because of the color of my skin. And that is white privilege. The first step is recognizing your privilege. The power comes after. The power comes when you amplify the voices of those who are born with a different colored skin. These words coming out of my mouth sound ridiculous and insidious and archaic. And that's how we know that we need to change, like yesterday. To my white friends and family, trying is not enough. Being here in this protest is not where it ends. I hear you say all the time that you don't get involved in politics, that it's boring, that it's uncomfortable, that you don't have time to look into the candidates.
But I'd say that existing as a black person is a little more than uncomfortable given our justice system. If you have time to sit on your phone for a few hours or binge watch a TV show, you can use that time to get educated. It takes a second to register to vote. You can do it in the DMV when you get your license when you turn 17. To make it even easier for my white friends to get educated, I printed out a list of resources, things like Netflix movies and books and TV shows and podcasts, articles, anything to get you educated about white privilege and what you can do, and you can pick it up afterwards. If you find me, if you know me personally, it's in my Instagram bio. But you can play a podcast or a Netflix documentary while you clean your room, while you're driving, when you're on the beach, you can have it in an earbud. Regardless, please recognize the privilege you have to say that you don't care about politics, that you can ignore what's going on because white voices will be heard whether or not we speak. White needs will be met regardless of our voice because that is white privilege. It begins at the Thanksgiving dinner table when a family member makes a racist joke. It begins on a soccer field when a teammate mutters a slur. It is at parties and in cars and behind closed doors. Correct the racism you see. Reverse the systemic racism you encounter in private and in public every day. We are playing for the same team here. No justice, no peace. This is not a trend, this is not a hashtag, this is not an Instagram story that will expire in 24 hours. Find your privilege to make a lasting change, and it starts now. I'm in no way religious by any stretch of the imagination, but I do have faith. I have faith in humanity, I have faith in us. If you look around, this is one of the most beautiful things you can see. We are a force to be reckoned with. If we keep this momentum that we have built here today, we will continue to do great things and make the needed great change. It starts here, but does not end here. If it ends here, we have failed. Standing here today isn't enough. Carry the energy you have in this moment beyond Wood Park to your homes, your schools, your workplaces, your communities. This is one race, the human race. Black Lives Matter.
Thank you, Avery. Our next speaker is a Cinnaminson High School graduate, Gabe St. Eileen.
What's going on, guys? So when Anya contacted me the other day asking me to speak, she told me that she didn't know if she'd be comfortable because she didn't have the same perspective. But it's not about perspective. It's about understanding the problem, understanding racism, and that it's there. It's understanding that the change starts with me, the change starts with you, change starts with police officers. And when I say police officers, not just you individually, but correcting your other fellow co-workers and police officers. It starts with you parents. It starts with you parents, and not, again, yourself, but educating your children, letting them know that racism is a thing and that they shouldn't grow up that way because it's wrong. It's in the schools, middle school, high school, like it's everywhere, and it's embarrassing. It's a shame. How we live is sinful, and we can't continue like this. We really can't. And when we say Black Lives Matter, we don't only mean black. We're not neglecting the white race, but we're saying in the Bible, God says if he had 100 sheep and one sheep ran away, he would leave the 99 sheep and chase the one. Not that the 99 don't matter, but the one sheep is in danger. And that's how we are right now. Us black folks, we're in danger. What happened to George Floyd? What happened to Ahmaud? What happened to... It needs to stop. This shouldn't happen. And it's been going on for years. And it shouldn't take another black man being killed for us to come together like this. That's not racism. Racism is calling us black folks niggers. It's all the same thing. It's all in one category. Don't just post on social media. Don't just feed into the social stuff about it. Actually educate yourself. Come together. Have talks. And if you're white, it's okay. It's just because you're white doesn't mean you can't speak on the matter. It's about if you understand the problem, if you know what the problem is. That's where you start. Spread the word. Racism needs to end. The killing needs to end. We need to stop the hate and we need to add more love. Love is the key to this world. And as long as you guys know that all we need is love, no matter if you're white, black, yellow, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's all about love.
Yeah.
Our last guest speaker is Lizette Abba, another graduate of Cinnaminson High School.
I wasn't really prepared. I have a poem that I wrote. It doesn't have a title. I don't see color. I don't discriminate. How could that be when there's still hate? If you don't see my blackness, you don't see me. I see a lot of white, but I ain't talking about picket fences, all them lies behind a disguise, but we must realize we're bigger than that. We can't let be the only one who's bleak, enough to speak as a whole, fed up, but like Jesus, we turn the other cheek. Plagued by the hate, hyperbolic or not, it's something we can't fake. So I write this in awe of the world around me, hoping and sending prayers that we can be in jubilee. Like a mouse enrolled in a trap, finally free, maybe then the caged bird would sing. That's all I have.
Thank you, Lizette. To end our protest today, I would like to read some names of the small fraction of victims of police brutality in our nation. Clifford Glover, Claude Reese, Randy Evans, Yvonne Smallwood, Amadou Diallo, Sean Bell, Oscar Grant, Trayvon Martin, Jordan Davis, Jonathan Farrell, Ayanna Jones, Eric Gardner, John Crawford, Mike Brown, Tamir Rice, Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, the Charleston Nine, Sandra Bland, Corey Jones, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Terrence Crutcher, Keith Scott, Jordan Edwards, Stephen Clark, Botham Jean, Atiana Jefferson, Amadou Arbery, George Floyd, Betty Jones, Breonna Taylor, Kendrick McDade, Timothy Russell, Gary Hatcher, Ezell Ford, Rakia Boyd, Stephen Watts, Akai Gurley, Dareem Hunt, Melissa Williams, Wendell Allen, Yvette Smith, Ramarley Graham, Larry Jackson, and countless more. I would now like to give a brief moment of silence in all of those people's honor. Thank you. On behalf of me and Anya, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. This has been so much more than we could have ever hoped for. Thank you so much. Thank you for keeping it peaceful and showing the message we are trying to convey. This is the start of change in our nation.
Thank you so much. And keep fighting. It's not over.
There's a light burning bright, showing me the way. But I know where I've been. There's a cry in the distance. It's a voice that comes from deep within. There's a cry pray the answers up ahead, 'cause I know where I've been. There's a road we've been traveling, lost so many on the way, but the riches will be plenty. Worth the price we had to pay. There's a dream in the future. There's a struggle that we